Guys, this is your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, and it looked like there's a major development coming out of Cleveland in this head coaching search. Literally, Jimmy Haslam is jumping on a jet to fly to LA. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to LA. Let's get it. Let's go. One of the first people, man, telling y'all about this Nate Skillhouse thing, man. The saga started a few days ago. We been staying on top of it. Well, I'm telling you right now, judging off the information that is coming out,
we have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur, I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call, but that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
Hold up. Jimmy Haslam just jumped on a private jet to Los Angeles. And if you know anything about the Cleveland Browns, you know this isn't just another business trip. This is the kind of move that changes franchises. The owner doesn't personally fly across the country unless something massive is about to go down. And right now, all signs are pointing to one name, Nate Skillhouse. Yeah, you heard that right. The same defensive coordinator who's been quietly building one of the most dominant defenses in the NFC is about to sit down with the Browns brass immediately after the Rams face the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game tonight. This isn't a casual interview. This is a power move. And if you've been following the Browns head coaching search, you know this saga has been absolutely wild.
It's looking like he's more than likely going to be the head coaching candidate. Word on the street is that the Browns are down to three guys. That's Jim Schwartz, Nate Skillhouse, and Grant Udinski. As of right now, I'm thinking Nate Skillhouse is top priority. Now, the Rams is scheduled to face off against the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game tonight, and Jimmy Haslam is going to the game. Not only is he going to the game, he's going to interview him immediately after the game. Now, that kind of make me wonder a little bit, like what you...
Let me break this down for you, because there's so much happening behind the scenes that most people are missing. The Browns have been conducting one of the most thorough coaching searches in recent NFL history. They've interviewed multiple candidates, from experienced veterans to rising stars, and according to insider reports, they've narrowed it down to three main guys: Jim Schwartz, Nate Skillhouse, and Grant Udinski. But here's the thing that's got everyone talking. Jimmy Haslam doesn't just hop on a jet for anyone. The fact that he's personally flying to LA to interview Skillhouse right after a playoff game tells you everything you need to know about where the Browns' priorities are right now. Now, let's talk about Mary Kay Cabot for a second, because this woman is connected like nobody else in Cleveland sports media. People joke that she's basically the spokesperson for the Haslam family at this point, and honestly, they're not wrong. She's been breaking news left and right throughout this entire coaching search. Yesterday, she literally reported that the Browns were fueling up their private jet in preparation for the LA trip. Think about that. She knew they were getting gas in the jet before most people even knew Haslam was considering flying out there. That's the kind of inside access we're talking about. Some people say she's close friends with Jimmy Haslam's wife, and whether that's true or not, one thing is certain: when Mary Kay reports something, you better believe it's coming straight from the source. So what's the deal with Nate Skillhouse? Why is he suddenly the frontrunner for one of the most scrutinized head coaching positions in the NFL? Let me paint the picture for you. Skillhouse has been the defensive coordinator for the Rams, and under his leadership, that defense has been absolutely nasty. We're talking about a unit that can shut down elite offenses, create turnovers, and completely change the momentum of games. He's young, he's hungry, and he's got that innovative mindset that modern NFL teams are desperately searching for. The league is evolving, and franchises want coaches who can adapt, who can think outside the box, and who can connect with today's players. Skillhouse checks all those boxes. But here's where it gets interesting. There's some concern about his experience, or rather, his lack of it. He's never been a head coach before. He's never called plays on the offensive side of the ball. He's young and relatively unproven in terms of leading an entire organization. And that's exactly what Mary Kay was talking about in that interview clip. The Browns need to make absolutely sure that whoever they hire can handle the pressure, the media scrutiny, and the chaos that comes with being the head coach in Cleveland. Because let's be real, Cleveland is not an easy place to coach. The fans are passionate, the media is relentless, and the expectations are sky high, especially now that the Browns have invested so much in their roster.
From a play calling and coordinator standpoint, that they need to know that he can handle all of the things that go along with being a head coach, and they are many. And you have to be able to handle all of the adversity that comes your way. If I were them, I would be presenting him with 3 or 4 crisis situations and asking how he would dig himself out of those, or asking him how he would address those things with the media, because those things will start happening right away. Especially, it seems sometimes in Cleveland, where they take chances on players that maybe some other teams would not take chances on. So any coach here has got to be ready to handle that adversity and deal with that, because that is a huge part of the job.
That's why this interview is so critical. The Browns aren't just going to ask Skillhouse about his defensive schemes or his philosophy on player development. They're going to put him through crisis scenarios. They're going to ask him how he'd handle a locker room controversy, how he'd deal with a star player getting arrested, how he'd manage the media when everything's falling apart. Because in Cleveland, those situations aren't hypotheticals, they're reality. And if Skillhouse can't prove that he's ready for that level of pressure, then the Browns might pivot to someone with more experience. Which brings us to the other candidates. Grant Udinski has been making waves as an offensive coordinator, and he's also on the Browns shortlist. He's got a brilliant football mind, and he's known for his ability to develop quarterbacks and design creative offensive schemes. The Browns interviewed him, and apparently he's also open to keeping Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator, which is huge. Schwartz has done an incredible job with Cleveland's defense over the past 2 seasons, and any incoming head coach would be smart to keep him around. But just like Skillhouse, Udinski is young and inexperienced as a head coach. That's the gamble Cleveland is considering right now. Do they go with a young, innovative mind who could be the next Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, or do they play it safe with a veteran? That's where Jim Schwartz comes into the conversation. Schwartz has been a head coach before. He knows what it takes to run an organization. He's been successful everywhere he's gone, and the players in Cleveland absolutely love him. The defense has thrived under his leadership, and there's a case to be made that he deserves a shot at the top job. But here's the problem. The Browns have already been down that road before with experienced coaches who didn't pan out. They want someone who can take this franchise to the next level, someone who can compete with the elite teams in the AFC, like Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore. And right now, the feeling is that a young, offensive-minded coach might be the way to go.
So much was made this week. Jesse Minter, had gotten the offer from the Ravens and basically told the Browns, hey, if you can't offer, I really want to just go ahead and pursue that opportunity that I have in the pocket. And the Browns said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And, of course, that followed Mike McDaniel pulling out of an interview, and then Mike turned around and did the same thing to the Buffalo Bills. It almost feels like Mary Kay, regardless of whatever narratives might be surrounding this head coach search for the Browns, it feels like it's going to end up right where they wanted it to in the first place. It felt like...
Speaking of offense, let's talk about Todd Monken for a second, because his name keeps coming up in these discussions. Monken has been the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, and he's done an incredible job calling plays for one of the most dynamic offenses in the league. According to Mary Kay, the Browns have told him to sit tight and wait for the process to play out. That's significant. If Monken was completely out of the running, he would have already accepted the offensive coordinator job with the Giants. But he hasn't. He's waiting. And that tells you that the Browns might still be considering him as a head coaching candidate, or at the very least, they want him as an offensive coordinator if they hire someone like Skillhouse or Udinski. Now here's where things get really fascinating. The timing of this LA interview is raising some eyebrows. The Rams are playing in the NFC Championship game tonight, and Haslam is going to interview Skillhouse immediately after the game. Some people are wondering if the Browns think the Rams are going to lose. I mean, why else would you schedule an interview right after such a massive game, unless you're pretty confident that the season is about to end? It's a bold move, and honestly, it feels a little disrespectful to the Rams and their playoff run. But that's the NFL for you. Business doesn't stop, even in the middle of a championship run. And let's not forget about the other candidates who've been interviewed. Anthony Lynn's name came up recently, and he's got head coaching experience from his time with the Chargers. He's also been the running backs coach for the Browns before, so there's familiarity there. But realistically, it doesn't seem like he's the top choice. This search feels like it's coming down to Skillhouse and Udinski, with Schwartz and Monken as potential backups if things don't work out. The Browns are at a crossroads right now. They've got a talented roster, a franchise quarterback in Deshaun Watson who needs the right coach to unlock his potential, and an ownership group that's desperate to bring a championship to Cleveland. This decision is going to define the next 5 to 10 years of Browns football. If they nail this hire, they could become legitimate Super Bowl contenders. If they mess it up, they're looking at another rebuild and more years of mediocrity. That's why Jimmy Haslam is on that jet to LA. That's why they're doing extensive interviews with personality tests and crisis management scenarios. That's why Mary Kay is reporting every single detail as it happens. Because this isn't just another coaching hire. This is the most important decision the Cleveland Browns will make in years. And based on everything we're seeing, everything we're hearing, and everything that's been reported, it's looking more and more like Nate Skillhouse is about to become the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. The question is, can he handle the pressure? Can he prove to Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry that he's ready for this moment? We're about to find out. Drop your answers in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button right now if you want insider Browns news before anyone else. We're bringing you breaking updates, exclusive analysis, and real-time coverage of this historic coaching search. Don't miss a single update.